We have been talking about an AEW video game for a very long time, and now we have some major updates. I think you guys will be excited. Welcome back to Destination Pro Wrestling. I'm Ango. Follow me on Twitter at Tango with Ango. And yes, I do wear other color shirts that aren't black. I was actually just getting ready to go to the gym. And then, of course, there has been some more news in regards to AEW circulating really quick, because I see a lot of people are like, oh, you only talk about AEW. I want to talk about Impact, ROH, WWE, New Japan, and all that good stuff. But you guys got to let me know in the comment section if that's what you guys want. Because honestly, by the looks of it, you guys have been way more supportive of the AEW stuff than the WWE stuff. But I want to do like live streams and all that good stuff, you know. Hey, but nonetheless, we are talking about an AEW video game, and it's always exciting when I get to talk about this, because as you guys know, I'm very well connected within the 2K community. I've been given a lot of press information from 2K in regards to 2K20, and I try to bring the information to you guys, but it seems like you guys are more interested in the AEW stuff. So for that reason, if you guys want more WWE 2K, that's something I'll definitely be able to bring you guys as far as news videos go. But most importantly, what you guys need to know in regards to 2K and gaming on this channel, I'll probably do some live streams with WWE 2K20. But most importantly, I might even do some live streams with this new AEW video game. Well, no matter what, I know I'm going to do at least AEW's video game, because we don't know that much about AEW's video game. And now we're starting to get a little bit of information. So Kenny Omega recently confirmed yet again that they will in fact have a video game, and that we would learn more information by the end of the year. Now, in this entire video, I'm going to show you guys and talk to you guys about some of the information that's come out, because it's incredibly important for you guys to know about it in regards to the actual what's going on with like the face scans and stuff. But I also want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons to an AEW video game, because there definitely is going to be some pros and cons. So with that being said, I'm going to throw a tweet on the screen. This came from Ryan Satin. You guys know who he is. Interesting note, AEW wrestlers were being face scanned the day before All Out. And then he alludes to this being the process done to make video game characters and action figures. This was mentioned on Chris Jericho's latest podcast, which if you guys did not listen, you guys could check it out online, Talk Is Jericho. Now, for those who don't know, with AEW recently confirming that there is in fact a video game that will be in the works for AEW, obviously face scanning does make the most sense here, because for AEW, the face scanning process will be quite long, actually. So if you guys aren't too familiar with how video games work, typically what ends up happening is every year faces get scanned into the game, and then, you know, like WWE, for example, or NBA or whatever, you know, all these video games that have come out on a yearly basis, for most people on the roster, you have references to go back to within your video game. Being that AEW is a brand new company, it doesn't necessarily work like that, and for that reason, this process is ultimately not going to be that long. So while it is a good thing for AEW to start getting the face scanning and stuff like that going now, it is one concern, and it's definitely a big area of concern, where AEW is talking about us getting information by the end of the year. And the reason why is because we don't necessarily know, one, who will be developing the game, two, we don't know who's going to be publishing the game, and three, we really don't even know who's going to be buying the game. And that is a huge question mark when it comes to AEW. And despite what some of you guys may say about WWE, it is one of the reasons why WWE does have a yearly game. Regardless if you guys like the game or not, WWE, 2K, you know, Visual Concepts, these companies have been around for a long time. So the fact that AEW doesn't really know who's going to be buying their game, it's a very questionable and very, very interesting dynamic, I think, realistically, to you know, the companies that might want to actually make the game. First and foremost, you guys need to know, when I say who will be buying the game, maybe us hardcore wrestling fans would be buying the game. But WWE 2K does attract a mainstream audience that may not necessarily watch pro wrestling. And if they do, it's very little. And the reason for that is because a wrestling video game, you don't necessarily have to know everything that's going on to enjoy the game. just like you don't necessarily have to be an NBA fan to enjoy a basketball game. But nonetheless, it is something to just keep in mind that AEW doesn't necessarily have years and years of experience. The only familiarity people have with AEW's product is essentially the last 4 pay-per-views. So obviously having Double or Nothing, Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, and now All Out, 4 pay-per-views, it's really hard to gauge how many copies of a game could be sold. So do I think Kenny Omega and the Elite, do I truly believe that they are right in a sense that we will learn more information by the end of the year? I don't know. I do not know. We do know that AEW, as far as like the action figures and stuff, we've heard some rumblings that there would be action figures, which at this point, at this stage in the game with pro wrestling, that's not necessarily shocking. So I have no issue with that. But clearly getting faces scanned into the game is going to be a long process. Now, keep in mind, you guys may have missed my recent video, but there is over 60 plus stars currently signed to AEW. So the roster in comparison to WWE 2K, this past one, 2K19, I think had over 200 plus characters. And trust me, there's some things that I have against that as well, because, they promote the largest roster, but when you have 6 different versions of Triple H, it's kind of concerning and kind of annoying. So 60 stars on the AEW roster. Me personally, one of the things I would like to see most within AEW's video game is a really nice creation suite. I think, especially with guys like Cody and Kenny and the Bucks, they are very familiar with these old school games. They are very familiar with the modding community. They know that they exist. I'm hoping these guys have a little bit of insight, and I really hope what ends up happening is something different from WWE 2K, because it would be nice to have an alternative to WWE 2K, as it would also be a nice alternative to Fire Pro Wrestling. Which, now that brings me to another point of this video. Is this something where AEW could be linking up with the developers of Fire Pro Wrestling? Well, right now, I think it's too soon to tell. A lot of people were talking about it. Here Comes the Pain remastered with Yukes, and a lot of people were just saying in general, like, maybe that could be AEW. And what I mean by that is Yukes having its own wrestling game, and then you have like AEW characters that are licensed. I've heard pretty much at this point within the pro wrestling games community, Yukes is working on something pretty damn generic. 2K is working on 2K20. Fire Pro is working on theirs. So I'm entirely in the belief that AEW is going to have a random developer work on this game. And I might not be against that, just depending on who the developer is. But by the looks of it, it sounds like Yukes is not, whether they are remastering or Here Comes the Pain or not, I don't know. But it sounds like they are doing something generic. And that's just based on what I'm reading online. So if, in fact, Yukes is making a generic wrestling game, what I like to see is, what I would personally like to see is a video game that has licenses from everybody. So like Impact, New Japan, and that'd be pretty cool for Yukes. That'd be pretty cool for Fire Pro. That's not going to work for 2K. So me personally, like if I'm AEW, I want to see who could develop this game. And, there's a lot of talk about the AKI engine, and, we don't really know what's happening here, but it wouldn't be shocked if we start to learn about the developers and the distribution and the publishers and stuff. I wouldn't be shocked if we learn about that by the end of the year. But I just don't see, from the time that AEW has come out as a company, nobody really knows how big they're going to be. So that's a huge question mark, and that's something I mentioned earlier. We don't know who's going to be buying the game. If you're a company like Yukes, 2K, or, I don't know, Rockstar, Activision, EA Sports, you're probably not looking at getting involved with an AEW title, honestly. So that might be the caveat to this whole thing. There could be the potential, random company that comes out and makes a AEW video game, but ultimately time's really going to tell, and I just don't know just yet. But there has been talks about this. They've been confirming the news, and the fact that they're getting their faces scanned backstage, that would be really, really cool. But again, that roster is pretty light. So whatever video game comes out for AEW, you know it's got to be something special, and it's got to have something really exciting, because 60 people on the roster could become infuriating. I think a lot of people would be frustrated. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. My name is Ango. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Tango with Ango. This is Destination Pro Wrestling. Daily content, pro wrestling news. Do you guys want some WWE stuff? Just let me know. I want to talk about all the pro wrestling I can. The more content, the better it is for you guys, and it is definitely better for me. So just let me know what you guys are asking for, because I would definitely do more videos if you guys want more videos. Hey, don't forget to click that like button, and make sure you guys subscribe, ring that bell, get notified, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.